Welcome to a lesson with Dr. Powell. We're going to take a look at a function here and see where it's equal to where it's positive, where it's negative, and we can do this simply by relating it to like a polynomial. We just have to be able to graph polynomials, and we got this down based upon at least their multiplicities of factors if we know how factors. So in particular, let's think about this guy right here. So if you taking a fifth root, and we're going to be focusing on simply, so we're taking a fifth root, and we're focusing on the idea of when we take a fifth root, we're going to get a real number out, we're going to take the real number result of that, and it doesn't really change the sign of it. Here, in fact, that's more of a question about domain, really. That's kind of a domain issue, but taking an odd root, we can get a real output, and it's not going to affect the sign. Now here, if we're taking we're raising the numerator of an exponent is like the power really raising it too. We're taking a fifth root after we raise it to that power. So really we could think of the top as being x plus 2 cubed if we want to. The bottom, absolute value, that's like with a bounce, right? Well, what else has a bounce? Well, like a parabola type thing. So you could think of that bottom as being x minus 1 squared. Now if you move it to the top, it doesn't change the sign of the output of this function, whether it be positive or negative. So we could just be thinking about this as x plus 2 cubed, x minus 1 squared. And if we want to, like, with a cube, you squiggle through, but really we don't really need to squiggle necessarily. We could just call it x plus 2, 1 if we just want to go through. So really we're looking at a polynomial that looks like this. We know how to graph that. We know this is going to be positive and negative. We think, what's the leading term? Leading term comes from multiplying all the leading terms together of each factor. We have two factors here, like x minus 1. Leading term of each factor is x. Leading term of this guy is that. Put together, that's a positive x cubed. You know how that graphs? That graphs like that. Which means as we're graphing it, we start down and we end up for the end behavior, where we're going to cross the axis at negative 2 from this factor and 1 from the other one. So negative 2 and 1. As we go up, how do we cross or hit or do something with this? From this has a multiplicity of 1 corresponding to this root where it crosses, and so it's going to shoot through. Now, with an even multiplicity right here, that's going to be a bounce as we come back around. And notice we have the right end behavior. What does this tell us? This tells us that this guy is positive here and here. And it's going to be 0 right there. And well, let's be careful, because really this is a polynomial and it's not the same as this, right? Now here, there could be a domain issue. We were just simply looking at where it's positive and negative. Of course, where it hits the axis might be an issue. So we just have to keep track of that as we're looking. So here at 1, it's not going to work, right? So really in interval notation, we get negative 2 to 1, union 1 to infinity, and that is where this guy will be strictly greater than 0. Thanks for watching.